What is up, guys? It's Flash back with some more charts and another video. It's Tuesday, February 25, about 5:27 p.m. Eastern. Gonna go through our 6 tickers today in our hashtag video list: Bitcoin, gold, Bitcoin measured in gold, strategy, strategy measured in Bitcoin, strategy measured in gold. Red day today, guys. Good day again to zoom out, try to see the bigger picture. This is my interpretation of a bullish chart in Bitcoin. I'm still bullish. It's hard not to be bullish on the hardest money in the universe. Okay, so I'm just going to hide this channel for now. So here's one interpretation, sideways channel. Think it looks pretty good. And then my other interpretation is more of a downtrending channel. But as you can see, this is very normal price action, I think. Like, I wouldn't get all caught up into the news. I wouldn't be overthinking things too much. I think we just got to let this kind of do its thing. Let Bitcoin do Bitcoin things, because when we zoom out, I have this parabola here. I've adjusted it a handful of times. I'll probably keep adjusting it, right? But when we zoom out, there are bigger forces at play here. We're right snab in the middle of this bull run. That's my interpretation, and I'm sticking to it. Sorry, I'm just gonna get this chart right for you guys. But yeah, man, I'm not too concerned, honestly. I would look to dollar cost average more into Bitcoin at this point. We want hard money. And okay, let me get that channel back on just so I don't forget about it later. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Now let's look at gold. Gold, I think, is nearing a local top. I do think gold is going to continue to march up onwards, but I think for now we're close to kind of seeing a break, kind of like it did back here at the end of October through January. So we'll see if we get a similar, consolidation. Who's to say? But I think we're running out of steam on this trend line, and I think when we measure Bitcoin in gold, here's that chart that we get. We kind of had a big downwards consolidation, falling wedge, fell out of the wedge, fell out of this channel. I like to think that this is a false breakout, and that we are going to kind of snap back, so to speak. It might take a day or two or three. But we'll see. I think this is a kind of a capitulation type of candle, where we may see a local bottom. I may eat those words in the future, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. Okay, let's look at MicroStrategy or strategy. Got a lot of lines on here. I'm going to clean this up, but I posted this on X today. A lot going on, right? But we can zoom out. And I'm still still bullish. Still bullish. Whoops. So this is MicroStrategy, and I kind of identified this big channel that we were in, right? I also see I see a lot of bullish things on this chart. Number one is big cup and handle. I also see big inverse head and shoulders. Broke out, back test. We made resistance become support. I just see just so bullish, absurdly bullish, right? So aggressive down move. And to me, we'll leave it on the candle. If you've watched my previous videos, even in uranium, I would look for these A, B, C's, right? Running a flat or just a three leg correction, or you can probably subdivide this into 5 waves too. Generally speaking, assets correct in 3 waves, right? So ultimately what I'm looking for here is this third leg of the ABC will look to take out like this low, right? Sweep the low and then kind of slingshot back upwards. If this is a bullish formation, right? If we are going to continue higher, we will have to get back above this low, right? So if we're going to go higher, that means we have to get back above here. And typically, just in my experience, take it with a grain of salt, but these three-leg moves, like this is obviously, it could be a shakeout. The ticker wants to get people out of the trade, the market makers, whatever is driving this, they want to get people out of the trade, shake them out, and then go higher. So what I'm looking for is for this to come back above that low, consolidate, and kind of resume upwards, right? And when you look back, you're going to, classically see this is a three-leg correction. I can't talk today. And so that's just kind of what I have my eye on right now when it relates to strategy. So, I mean, we're kind of fitting pretty nicely into this channel. We're at the bottom of it. We could also see like another leg down like that and then go. Because then you'd have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, sweep that final low. But again, that ultimately just is another way of saying we're looking for a bottom here. So whether this is the low that we want to get back above, or this is the low that we want to get back above, I don't even know if I'm explaining this correctly, but this is kind of how I see it. We want to get back above these local lows, especially this one. All right, so now let's go over to strategy measured in Bitcoin, and we'll zoom out again for this one. This is on the weekly time frame. I'll throw the 30-week moving average on. So, I mean, in this uptrend, whenever price got below this 30-week, I mean, it pretty much is a signal to say that's when you buy, right? Buy zone, buy zone, buy zone. So ipso facto, like, could this be the next buy zone? It depends if you want to buy it. But I'm still bullish, guys. That's the kind of the moral of the story. I think if you follow me, I'm very bullish. And it's really just because what the charts are telling me. Like, this strategy measured in Bitcoin just looks like a huge Wyckoff accumulation. And we're at the top of the range. We're kind of flagging into support. We made resistance support now, like this blue line. And so I think we just need to let it play out, let price action do its thing, and I think we'll be okay. Now let's look at strategy measured in gold. This one's a little bit different, right? Kind of have an upsloping channel, similar to the strategy chart. Just nice to be able to measure something in gold. So we're measuring in Bitcoin, measuring in gold, two of the harder asset classes, rather than measuring things in the US dollar, which, is just kind of crazy to think about. Like, we shouldn't be measuring in that, I would say. If we're going to be advancing into this next level of society and we're going to be on a Bitcoin standard or a gold standard, I think we should be measuring our assets in the harder of the asset classes. So again, we're kind of retesting this support zone, this support area. And we're kind of like falling right through it right now. So take this with a grain of salt again. But I think if, maybe tomorrow we can bounce back up a little bit and start to consolidate here, build energy, and kind of release this flag to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. Again, we're below the 30-week, which historically price doesn't even really get to in this uptrend. So historically, since 2023, this is a very rare occurrence. We've only spent, a handful of weeks below the 30-week when we look at strategy measured in gold. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to go back to Bitcoin. again, the 30-week moving average is like right in line with this parabola. So we haven't even gotten there yet. So like we could still even come a little bit further down and get under the 30-week and still be quite bullish. The Ichimoku cloud on the weekly, we're well above it. This is bull zone. So this when we're looking at Bitcoin, we know it's volatile. We have to expect this and continue to keep our strategies in place, in my opinion. But what I'm going to do here is invert this chart. So now we're looking at US dollars measured in Bitcoin, right? At any point in this chart, would you ever like think to consider, oh, I'm going to sell my Bitcoin and buy US dollars? Like maybe you would in this area or in this area or maybe this area or this area. But like generally speaking, like that's not long lived, and it wouldn't make sense on a weekly time frame. Why would you sell your Bitcoin to get US dollars, right? So I'm going to re-invert this. And so that's just kind of what this chart is. Like this is Bitcoin eating US dollars. It's eating the financial system. One last thing I want to show here. I'm going to pull up, this indicator, this rainbow wave that I love. I'm going to go into settings, show fair value zone. We're going to remove minor lines, remove the bands, and I think it's power law. And so let's just hide all of our drawings for a second. Like this is the core of the power law on Bitcoin. So yes, we have these bubble areas. Yes, we come down into this blue zone, and that's essentially good buying opportunities. But I was thinking today on my walk with the dog to the beach, I was like, this is a good representation of thinking about Bitcoin as a very long-term asset, the hardest money the world has ever seen. There's so many use cases. It's eating the financial system, the global financial system. If we forget about the bubble territories, the bubble zones for a second, like I do think the power law is going to continue. Like I do think we're gonna, oh, my drawings came back, but we could have a bubble. Yep, absolutely. But if we don't, like we can still chop around this and like, Bitcoin is still doing its things, it's like following the power law. That's the core of the price action. So I hope that helps, guys. I'm going to put my indicators back on here. It won't show the fair value zone. So that's the moral of the story for today's update. Maybe a little bit longer than we expected, my video today, but always good to zoom out, stay calm, stay focused. I'll see you guys in the next one.